Hey guys, and welcome back to another video for Alex's Flying Club. We're going to be doing a flight from Monterey, California to Bakersfield, California in the Chance Vought F4U Corsair. And hopefully everything will work out well because my OBS, the program that I use to stream, is acting up a bit. It's not letting me display my usual browser that I like to share with you guys to show my flight path and everything in SkyVector. And also it's getting me a lot of dropped frames when I first started streaming. So hopefully it'll cooperate and will not cause delays and technical difficulties for us. In any case, we are here in the Monterey Airport. I have some freeware scenery for this. Let me remove the starting soon message. And we're going to be on Pilot Edge today, the Pilot Edge ATC network. There's no coverage that I know of in Monterey, but once we get in the air, I'll ask for flight following, and also we'll be talking to the tower controller at Bakersfield to land. Let me pull up chat here so I can see who's interacting. I almost didn't stream, but hopefully we can persevere and get through these technical difficulties. And it's been a while since I've streamed, so I'm a little bit out of practice. But it's like riding a bicycle, you never forget. Okay, so we've got the chat window pulled up here. Let's take a look at the airport here. This is some nice freeware scenery, as I mentioned. I'll post the link if I haven't yet on my channel page to this freeware scenery on Twitch. This video may go up on YouTube, so check out my Twitch channel page if you're interested in getting this scenery. And then also, of course, I'm running the blue sky photo scenery for California, so let's take a look at that. This is the airport, and the surrounding scenery is in photoreal. I'm really liking the freeware blue sky photo scenery. Like, it looks really wonderful with all these mountains and other textures, the farm textures all around here in the valley. And we're going to be flying to Bakersfield, just somewhere around here. So we're going to take a route through through this valley over here, cross over the mountains, and then land at Bakersfield. So without further ado, let's get in the cockpit. All right. Let's turn on our battery switch. Let's set our tank to reserve, our fuel tank. Let's lower our wings and lock them into place. Okay, those are lowered. That's locked. And actually, let's push back this aircraft because we're not going to be able to get out of here easily with that fence in the way. Alright, so we're getting pushed back here. I'm just going to stop at the yellow line so it's going to be easy for us to taxi. There we go. I'm going to unlock the tail wheel. Oh, it was already unlocked. Probably should have had it locked for pushback, but that's okay. Before I forget, let me set the trims. It's going to be 6 degrees aileron to the right, 60 degrees rudder to the right, and it's going to be nose up one notch there. I'm going to set mags to both in preparation for engine start. Cowl flaps, let's put them open. Intercooler flaps, let's also have them open, I believe. let me just check my checklist here for before engine start. Mixtures, idle cutoff, prop, let's put that to full, rather to low pitch. Fuel selector is in reserve, cowl flaps are open, throttle open 1 inch. Batteries on, we have to turn on the fuel pump, prime for conditions, and start the starter switch, and set mixture to rich once the engine starts. So I moved the intercooler flaps back because I think I have to open them after engine start, but I'm not sure. Fuel pump is on. I'm gonna prime about 3 seconds worth. And start the engine. Whoa, should have had my parking brake on. Hey Jaden, this is the Corsair by Aircraft Factory. It's a subsidiary company of A2A. And let me know if the sound is too loud, guys, with the from the game, if you can't hear me. But yeah, this is Aircraft Factory. It's like the budget line for A2A. So they make some nice warbirds, mostly in that line. And one of them is the F4U Corsair. It's a nice looking bird. This one came out several years ago, but there's one that came out by Aeroplane Heaven, but I haven't seen really good reviews for it. There's a guy, Wells Sullivan, I think is his YouTube account, and he did a comprehensive review of. Oh, okay, it's on the lower side of sound. Let me bump the sound up so you guys can hear that beautiful engine sound. Okay. So the Airplane Heaven version, they came out with the Birdcage Corsair. It hasn't been well reviewed. Wells Sullivan, he did like a really nice review on YouTube, and there were some problems which I could get into later on in the video. It's one of the things I wanted to talk about. But let's just do the after engine start checklist. I turn the fuel pump off. Let's idle at 1,000 RPM. Cool, nice. So thanks for that. The sound is working well now. I just realized I forgot to add mixture, but the engine was still going. That's interesting. So now we have full mixture. Prop low pitch, cowl flaps wide open, intercooler flap. Oil cooler flaps are closed, intercooler flaps are open. And we'll watch the cylinder head temperature, but it shouldn't rise too much on the ground. This is more of a forgiving flight model than something like the A2A P-51 Mustang, where you have to watch the temperature on the ground. Let's turn our generator on. Avionics already on, and let's get all of our lights on, except for the landing lights. So next checklist to go is the takeoff checklist. Let's wait for the engine to warm up a little bit, just for kicks. And I wish I could show you guys my flight plan for today, but if you go on my channel page under current flight, you should be able to download the SkyVector map. But if I try to pull it up here, I'll show you what happens. It's just a black screen. I can't get it to work like I did before in my previous videos. So unfortunately I won't be able to share that with you, but this is going to be a VFR flight. Like I mentioned, we're going to be... Hey Darren, welcome to the stream. We're going to be flying down the valley in between some mountain ranges in Northern California. We're going to cut through those mountains where they kind of get lower in elevation, and we're going to fly into Bakersfield. And we are on the Pilot Edge network. You know what? Let me pull up some frequencies so we get some background ATC that we can hear. What would be the best one for me to pull up here? So I think since we're in Northern California, we may not be able to get... Let's see if we can hear the tower from San Francisco International. Hey Darren. Yeah, so you know me from my YouTube channel. That's pretty cool. Thanks for coming on and checking me out on Twitch. Do you have a different username on YouTube, or do you have a channel of your own? Okay, sorry guys, I'm just in my browser here trying to pull up the frequency for San Francisco Tower 120.5. So let's see here if we can hear some ATC. We may be too far away for that. And while I'm here, I'm gonna pull up the chart for Monterey. We're located on the west side of the airport at the General Aviation parking. We're right next to runway 10 right. And let me get the ATIS for Monterey. 119.25. So it looks like the winds are not favoring runway 10 right. It would be much smarter to take off at 28 left. So we're going to have some taxiing ahead of us. We're going to have to taxi the length of the runway. If the wind was less, if it wasn't 9 knots, I'd take off with tailwind, but I don't want to risk it here. Okay, so let's note our fuel and start taxiing. I like to write down the fuel number before and after the flight. So that's 201 gallons. And we're going to start our departure at 6:03 local time. So we got our canopy open, got our lights on, and we're ready to taxi. I have to take it nice and slowly with this bird. And I'm going to have to practice my S-turns. It's a good opportunity because the visibility is not that great, especially with the cowl flaps out and that big nose. You have to really do some nice S-turns to see ahead of you, like so. So we're going to be taking Alpha down to runway 28 left. Looks like the taxiway is weaving a little bit to the left, so I'll try to get back on center line. There we go. Like I said, I really like this little airport to fly out of here. It's in a nice part of California, right on the coast, south of San Francisco. And it's nice freeway scenery. You see some trucks, you see some buildings. And it blends nicely with, whoa, it's cutting it close there to the truck. It blends nicely with the blue sky photo scenery. I wanna, okay, now I'm on the grass. It's a bit of a disastrous taxiing job. Let me try to focus on it. What helps is, let me set tail wheel lock on the straightaways. That way I don't have to fidget as much to keep it straight. Tail wheel lock will do most of the work for me, and that's a lot better. So as I was mentioning before, the Aeroplane Heaven one that came out, I like Aeroplane Heaven, but I think at least on the Corsair, they didn't quite finish up the job on that add-on. Like, there were problems with the flight model, the speeds weren't correct at various power settings, and also, things like the generator were missing. There was no generator button, and yeah, there were just some unrealistic features to it that I think they could probably easily fix with a patch, but the way that it came out originally is a bit flawed from the reviews that I've seen, from the one review that was pretty detailed that I saw. Let's see if I can get my rudder pedals to release the brakes. There we go. So I can set the parking brake. Alright, so almost ready for takeoff. Let's take a look at the checklist. Takeoff checklists. Fuel tank is in reserve, mixture set, cowl flaps are going to be set to 2/3. This can be set to closed. I'm going to turn the pitot heat on and turn the landing lights on. Trims are set. Tail wheel lock to go once we're lined up. Flaps are going to be set to 30. 1, 2, 3. It's going to be 30. And max throttle is 54 inches of manifold pressure once we start rolling. Okay, I think we're good to go. This should be a nice fun flight. Probably going to be flying into the sunset as we're landing, hopefully. It's getting to be about that time. Speaking of time, 6:09 for our takeoff. Get nice and aligned nicely to the runway before I start my takeoff roll. Alright. We got tail wheel lock on. Everything looks good to go. So let's set it to, gotta watch out to stay on the center line and make sure that it doesn't take off on its own. 54 inches on the throttle. Finally got control of the aircraft. And we've got enough speed for takeoff. Nice and smooth. Gear goes up. Come back on the manifold pressure. Set it to climb. think it's 2550 on the RPM and 44 inches on the manifold pressure. Let's go flaps up. As we pick up speed, you have to remember to trim her out. Landing lights can come off. Hand pump check valve. I'm not sure what this does, but I'll set it to flight since that's the mode that we're in. And let's close the canopy as we're gaining speed here. You can see we're needing some trim here. And as far as cruise level, I think we're going to try to stay really low to the ground. As low to the ground as we can for the textures to still look good. So you can see they're looking a little fuzzy right now. I'm gonna climb a little bit so that we get a better view of the ground and the textures aren't as fuzzy. That's the thing about photoreal. It looks really good, but it looks better from up higher, from higher up. Just trimming her out. Okay, so our first heading is going to be 062. I'm going to overfly the airport and then get on a heading of 062 so that we can find our highway that I'm going to be following into the valley. And try to stay out of the clouds because we are VFR. So I'm gonna duck underneath these ones over here and fly roughly a left downwind from our runway. And at this point, I can do our after takeoff checks. So we can say we're at cruise now. I don't have to climb very high. We can probably climb at normal speed. So flaps are up, landing gears up, and let's set normal speed, normal power settings, I should say. 34 inches and 2150 on the RPM. So 34 inches and 2450. And that's either turbulence or we are getting rocked around a little bit because I'm changing the power settings. Probably the latter. Alright, so I'm going to go on my heading of 062. And we should come up on a highway right next to another airport. The airport's called Salinas Airport. And I'm going to climb a little bit, making sure to stay below the clouds. But, yeah, probably another 1,000 feet, 3,500 would be good. And actually we are getting some turbulence. It's pretty nice. Nice effect. You can see it shaking the plane. And there's the valley that we'll be taking up ahead. Of course, the major valley that runs through California is beyond those mountains, but this is like a sub-valley that runs parallel to it. Let's see if I can spot the airport that we need. There we go. That looks to be the airport, and the highway should be right next to it. pretty prominent highway, the 101. And we'll be following that along. There'll be several landmarks they'll be looking for along the way. Mainly airports and a couple of lakes that I'll use to navigate. So I've recently been flying in War Thunder because I was itching to get back into combat flight sims. I was getting a little bit tired of civilian flying. Just kind of the routines in the simulator, that is. Just kind of the routines were getting to be familiar to me, and I wanted to get the challenge of dogfighting again, to take up that challenge. But yeah, it's really tricky. War Thunder is hard to get into. Well, first of all, let me offer some excuses for my poor performance. I think I did about, I don't know, maybe 30 sorties and only got 2 kills. So I'm almost glad I didn't stream that, because that wouldn't have been fun to watch anyway. But there's the highway. So we'll keep that off to our, let's keep it off to our right side so we can see it out the window. I'm gonna fly overhead. So yeah, I got back into War Thunder. Well, one of my first excuse for my poor performance is I'm flying with a yoke, and I'm still flying right now with a yoke. My joystick is in Chicago, and I don't have it with me, so I have to do dogfighting with a yoke, which is pretty hard. And plus, War Thunder, the settings on it have a delay where you'll make a move with your yoke, and the controls only respond, like they try to smooth out the controls, so it makes it hard when you're dogfighting to get really quick and accurate movements. So I've recently been fiddling around with the controls to improve that. I'm gonna set my new heading of 121, which follows the highway roughly. And my first landmark is gonna be an airport to the west of the highway, so on my side that I'm flying at right now. And then there's gonna be another one to the east of the highway. That's Mesa. The first one's Clark, small little field, and the second one is Mesa del Rey. So I'll be looking for those as I navigate, just to have a fix on where I am. And you can see down below there are some cars on the highway. Let's see if I can switch to another frequency and pick up some ATC. I'm not sure which frequencies are covered here. Los Angeles, let's go 119.05. So at some point we'll pick that up, but we're still a bit far away. We're still in the Oakland ATC control area. So War Thunder, yeah, I've been enjoying that, but it's kind of like the grass is always greener on the other side. As I was getting into War Thunder, I started missing just having like a world to fly around and explore in, because the sorties in War Thunder are take off straight into battle, and then I usually die, and that's where it ends. And the maps are so beautiful. I wish there was like recurrent map feature, sort of like in Aces High or in IL-2 Sturmovik, where you have a persistent map and you just keep spawning and taking off. All the players keep spawning and taking off, and as long as the map is active. I kind of like that system better than just you have one scenario, everybody takes off at once, and then whoever dies, dies. Whoever lives remains in the map. It's I think it's more conducive to quick battles, but the way War Thunder sets it up, it doesn't give you as much of a chance to explore some of the map areas and really enjoy the nice little virtual world that they created. So you can see from this altitude the mountain textures are looking really nice. This is the blue sky photo scenery. Yep, Darren's still there. Can you hear me okay? Is everything okay with the stream? So I'm going to try to stay at... hey Adonis, welcome to the stream. Am I streaming somewhere else too? Nope, just on Twitch. I just stream on Twitch, but OBS has been acting up lately. It's giving me some dropped frames, and also is not allowing me to share my browser on the stream, unfortunately. But I am flying in Northern California. It's good to see you, Adonis. Long time no see. I still think of you whenever I'm flying in FSX because you optimized all my settings really nicely, and it performs a lot better after you helped me out with those settings. So thanks again for that. And I'm just following this highway here. I'm doing some map and compass VFR. And you can find the map that I'm using, the Sky Vector map, on the channel page under my current flight. So let's see if I can spot this little river here on the map. Okay, I see where that is. Should be another one. To the right side. Actually, this river should be close to the airport I'm looking for, Mesa del Rey. So it should be coming up fairly soon. I should be seeing it. If not, I may miss my landmark. If worst comes to worst, I always have the GPS to fall back upon. I almost busted the Bravo airspace yesterday, so I don't want to take that chance. So I always fall back on the GPS if I have to. Oh no, I haven't streamed War Thunder. I was meaning to, but I suck so much that I haven't been as I guess confident enough to stream it. It's difficult to get all your controls set up and get back into dogfighting. Well, I was never excellent at it to begin with. I really admire the guys that are. Like, if you've ever seen the videos by JG4 Corsair on YouTube, he's excellent at virtual dogfights. So those are really fun to watch. But I was never that great. And it's hard after you've been out of it for a while to get back into it. So I kind of split the difference, and now I'm flying a Warbird on Pilot Edge. So it's almost as good, if not better. Okay, so I'm seeing an airport. I think. Oh, there it is. Where did that road go? So it's on the left-hand side. I wonder what could that be? Because I would expect this, or maybe the highway is here now. King City. So I've lost the highway, and I can't recognize this airport. So maybe this is the highway now. I kind of lost it over there somewhere. Huh. Interesting. So I'm going to assume that this is, Mesa del Rey Airport is what I meant to say, in King City. And I'm going to keep flying south, and we have to keep flying south until Paso Robles Airport. Okay, there's the highway again. Yeah. Yeah, you're totally right about that in terms of knowing the plane's strengths and weaknesses. But I was flying mainly U.S. planes, like I was flying Hellcat and first the Wildcat, then the Hellcat, and now I'm working my way toward a Corsair. And yeah, I just get shot down by the Spitfires because they climb like crazy. They're really good climbers. The Spitfires at the tier that I'm in War Thunder. It's really hard to come in to the battle with a disadvantage in altitude. The altitude advantage really helps. The planes that can climb the fastest, they get to the battle zone and they're above everybody, and then they kind of have a field day usually with the other team. But I mean, if you're a good pilot, you can minimize that disadvantage. But I'm not that good enough of a pilot to do that. So I usually get sniped by those high flyers in War Thunder. I played in realistic mode, not the simulator mode, but the middle level. I forget what it's called. The realistic mode, I guess. So now our new heading is 133, approximately. I'm still following the highway. And I've descended a bit, so let's get back up to 3,500 feet. That's where I want to be. Going at about 200 miles per hour. I could push this plane faster. I mean, it could really go really fast, but I want to fly it at a realistic setting. There's what appears to be an anomaly in the scenery, just a spike of elevation. I doubt that that's a real feature. Hey Darren, you having trouble? Are you having trouble with the stream, or is it looking alright for you? Forgot to turn my little icons at the bottom of the screen off after the intro, but whatever. I'll just leave them on for the rest of the flight. Oh no! There's an oversight. I forgot to put my tank on reserve. sorry, off of reserve onto main after takeoff. So I'll have to keep it on main. Usually, I think you take off and land in the reserve tank, and when you're in the air, you go onto the other tanks, fuel tanks. But I'll have to land on the main tank this time because I just depleted the reserve. Yeah, so I'm not streaming this on YouTube right now. I'm not doing simultaneous streams. I'm just doing the Twitch stream. Do you have a channel on YouTube, Darren? Let me catch up on chat here. Yeah, you know what? You're totally right. I should probably look up those statistics, Adonis, because I just kind of ballpark the climb speed. I climb at like 150 miles per hour in the Corsair when I'm in War Thunder, but I should probably ballpark it. Not ballpark it, but look up the exact numbers so that I get the maximum height before I enter the battle. That's a good idea. So you can see that the mountains have subsided a little bit, and through one of these clearings we're gonna fly east and make our way to Bakersfield. Sorry, not Buffalo. That'll be a long flight if we're going to Buffalo. So Paso Robles Airport is what I'm looking for next, and it's going to be on the right side of the highway. So let me make sure I don't miss that and fly east of the highway so that I can take a look at off of my right wing. Take a look and find Paso Robles. Yep. Yeah, Adonis, I agree with you. The War Thunder is not the most realistic simulator, and I know that, but I wanted to fly specifically the U.S. Navy World War II fighters, and right now that's probably the best option available if you want to fly like a Corsair in a combat flight sim. I can fly IL-2 1946. It has the Corsair as well, but that's a bit of a dated game, as well as Aces High. I might get back into Aces High. I haven't really decided yet. I miss my old squadron, the F-17, the Jolly Rogers. That's why I'm flying the Corsair in FSX right now, actually. So hopefully I didn't pass my mark. I don't think I did it. It's a 38 nautical mile leg until that airport. And I keep trying to look for an airport in the distance. Yeah, if I don't see it in the next little while, I'll have to check my GPS because I don't think I have enough fuel to go on too many diversions. Yep, IL-2 is a lot better in terms of all that, in terms of flight models and physics and accuracy compared to War Thunder. But you know, War Thunder looks really, really nice. I really like the look and feel of the world in War Thunder. It's very, it's kind of got an arcade-like element even when you're flying in the cockpit, but the colors are so rich and saturated, and it looks always nice, and when it's sunny it looks always nice and crisp, and I really like that feel to it. So one of the landmarks I was looking for were the lakes in the distance, and I am seeing some lakes, which is a signal that we should be approaching the airport soon. Let's see what they're called. Lake Nacimiento is what I'm looking for. Lake San Antonio and Lake Nacimiento, off in the distance. So there's one of them. Ah, and there's the airport. Okay, so we've reached Paso Robles Airport, and our new heading is going to be 079. So I'm going to make my turn. And this time I'm just going to have to fly this heading for a long while. And when I have to really try to be accurate with it. And I'm going to be looking for a series of airports that are going to lead me to Bakersfield. It's going to be a little more challenging because I don't have a road to follow. Okay. So I'm gonna try to really stay on this heading. Really try to trim out the aircraft nicely, so I don't have to. Let's climb to 5,500 feet, so we're not just at some random altitude. And then I'm going to trim out the aircraft for level flight. Yep, I know the hardcore simmers dislike War Thunder. Yeah, I'm fully aware. Yeah, Cliffs of Dover is a good alternative, nice and cheap. It's like, what, $10? When it goes on sale, you can get it for like $2 or $5 even. And it's a really high quality sim. I should pick that one up. And Battle of Britain is a great theater of war. It's a great great subject for a flight sim, combat flight sim. So that's definitely on my wish list. I'll get that one sooner than later, I think. But for now, I'm enjoying some nice civilian flying in an old Warbird in FSX. This is always fun. Get my navigation chops back. My VFR navigation chops. Keep looking over the gun sight so that I can find a point where to aim for, in terms, not to shoot it, but to aim for navigation wise. So right at the base of this little mountain right here, I'm aiming for that so that I don't swerve around off my course. So That's the landmark that I'm shooting for right now. So that I don't have to always check my compass. I can just look out the window quickly and see whether I'm off course or not. It's not the ideal way to navigate, because if there's a wind that's pushing you to one side or another, then you're constantly going to be going a little forward. The wind's going to push you. You're going to have to turn. So you end up constantly doing this kind of like half circle toward your destination. I don't know if I've explained that properly, but it's kind of an easy way to navigate if you're just doing it in a relaxed way. So what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to calculate a wind correction angle and fly on the wind correction angle. That way the wind is drifting you, but you're still staying on course. Yeah, the Team Fusion patches, I'm aware about them, and I know they keep updating it. I don't know when the last update was, but when IL-2 Cliffs of Dover first came out, I think it got bad reviews, but the Team Fusion guys did a really good job of making that game achieve its full potential, I think. And again, I'm not an expert in it or even very knowledgeable because I haven't played it myself, but I watch a lot of videos of guys like Corsair. He flies in Cliffs of Dover a lot, and it's fun to watch. It's fun to watch those dogfights because Cliffs of Dover doesn't have icons. You can't see your enemy from far away unless you have really good eyesight, like the fighter pilots did, in terms of an eye for things moving on a static background. Every fighter pilot learns to look for those telltale signs of an aircraft at a distance, and that's something that games like Cliffs of Dover mimic well, I think. Scenery is looking really nice. The blue sky photo scenery. And if I was smart, I should be timing these legs just to get an idea of how soon I'm going to arrive at the destination. So the first one is about 35 nautical miles to the first airport. $35 divided by 6. So let's say that should only be about 6 minutes of flying until the first airport, if my math is right. So I should be looking for that first little airport. Let's see if I can tune a frequency. 119.05 does not seem to be picking up yet. 127.1. Let me try that one. Let me try 127.1. So let's see what kind of other flying I've been doing. I did a flight in the NGX the other day, but I don't know. I don't know why this realization didn't dawn on me earlier, because I've had this problem all throughout. Maybe I just didn't want to admit it. Is this an airport? Kind of looks like a runway. Huh. In the photo reel. Interesting. Anyways, so this realization is that I don't think I can run the NGX on my system, because the flight starts out fine, takeoff's okay, even if I'm at a busy airport. But when I go to land, I was landing at LaGuardia. The frames were like at 5 to 10 frames per second. I mean, I love flying the NGX, but I think I need a better system, or I need to turn down my settings. I need to definitely play around with it a little bit. Adonis says, "We see movement exceptionally well. We suck at the detail. So you don't zoom in with your eyes on a specific patch of the monitor, but look at the whole thing." That's interesting. So I guess that would make sense, since we are hunters, biologically. If we look at a certain scene, instead of zooming in on a specific object, if we look at a certain section of the sky and stare at it for a little while, we should be able to see movement against that patch of sky or that patch of ground. And that's how pilots can pick out targets from far away, I guess. There's a little river on the map. Kind of makes a U. No, I didn't. I didn't play around with the NGX settings. I'm thinking of turning down the texture resolution from like 4096, the way that we had it set, down to like 1024 or something, just for the NGX when I fly it. This plane, I'm getting really good frames. I'm getting like 70 frames per second, so no problems here. Okay, they look. Donna says they look for the whole sky for movement, not scan sections of it looking for shapes and detail. Fair enough. That makes sense. I'm kind of worried that I'm not seeing these airfields, which leads me to believe that most likely I messed up on holding my heading. Oh man, that textures look really nice. You can't get that with AutoGen. Look at those fields. It looks really nice. Well, at least I know that mountain range, if we get to the mountain range, we've gone too far, that's for sure. Because Bakersfield is somewhere over there. I have to know the right time to turn, when the right time to turn is. And I was going to time that by these airfields along my way, but apparently I haven't found any of them. There should be like 1, 2, 3, 4 that I will have flown really, really close to. Oh, okay. So 4096 is a requirement for the NGX to work. Okay, I'll leave the textures at 4096. That's good to know. Full of useful information you are, Adonis. Kind of all over the place. I've gained about 1,000 feet in altitude, and I'm not keeping my heading. It's kind of driving me nuts, though, that I can't spot these airstrips, these airfields. Oh, there's a little bit of wind action right there. Okay, yeah, I'll run the PMDG performance manager and turn down the settings there. Okay. Yeah, I was flying over New York at night, so my performance definitely took a hit. But it's really hard to land when you're at like 5 frames per second. It's almost impossible. So another solution may be just to fly to smaller cities, like Class Charlie airports, when I'm flying the NGX rather than the Class Bravo. Interesting. I'm almost tempted to pull out Google Maps in the terrain view just to see if I can recognize some of these terrain features. Little river running toward the direction of Bakersfield. Let's see if I can spot that. I do see one. Golf courses. Yeah, this valley, everything looks very similar in this valley, at least from on... Oh, what is this? What do we have here? Nice medium-sized airport. My guess is that is Cashin Airport. I mean, I doubt that that's Wonderful Pistachio. There's a field called Wonderful Pistachios and Almonds. And that's pretty funny. Okay, that's good to know, Adonis. Yeah, I guess I'll avoid those cities as well. So there's a big roadway running right by the airport. Is that Wonderful Pistachios and all? Or is that... No, because it's got one runway. 3-2, not 2 runways. I'm very confused as to where that is. There's a little waterway right there too. I mean, that should be somewhat distinct. I guess that might be Delano Airport. You know what? That might be Delano Airport. Maybe they've since added a runway. Interesting water features there with guess the reflection of the sky. That looks kind of interesting. I haven't seen that before in this flight sim. Sky reflecting like that I remember at least. So my guess is that is Delano Airport, because there's a little lake here to the east of it. It's next to a city, I believe. Where's that airport? Yeah, it's next to a city to the north, and it's got a road, a big road heading south, and this road should take us straight to Bakersfield. So that is good news. I think I found where I am. What happened was I think I drifted north. So let's follow this road, and we should pass an airport off to our left that's called Paso Kern County, and then one off to our right that's called Shafter Minter Airport, and then we're going to be at Bakersfield. So I'm going to look for those airports, and let's put in Bakersfield Tower frequency to get that ready. Okay, so Meadows Field, that's where we're going to be landing. Tower frequency is 118.1. Are we finally going to get some ATC? Hopefully. Let's try to stay at 3,500 feet. What is that thing? Doesn't seem like an airport or anything. Interesting. Okay, I don't see. Is that a runway? Oh, I guess it is. What airport is this? Oh, this must be Shafter Minter. Yep, it's Shafter Minter. So I don't want to get too close to there before. Oh, there's Bakersfield. So let me stay near this airport over here, and then give Bakersfield a call. I'm worried a little bit because I'm not hearing ATC. I also haven't checked ATIS. Let me check that. 118.6, I believe. So 30 runways, 30 right, 30 left. That means that Sorry guys, I'm just setting the runway heading into my heading bug. So that means they're going to probably put us on a downwind. Not a straight in approach. Well, I guess let's see if we can call up the tower. It's really quiet. Hopefully I'm connected properly and everything. So we're about 10 miles northwest of the field. Bakersfield Tower, good evening. November 17 Victor Foxtrot, request a full stop landing. Maybe Bakersfield is untowered. Or rather, maybe they stopped providing services at Bakersfield. Very strange. I'm pretty sure that's Bakersfield over there. All right, sounds good, Adonis. Thanks for stopping by, and have a good flight. Appreciate all your advice. It's good stuff. See you, man. Lukla, that's a good destination too. It's going to be a challenging landing. One of the most challenging in the world, I think. Let me just double check my frequency. Tower 118.1. Bakersfield Tower, November 17 Victor Foxtrot. How do you read? So what I'm going to do is, I don't know, maybe it's not working properly, or maybe they stopped doing services at Bakersfield, but I'm going to disconnect from Pilot Edge. I'm going to continue the flight. I just don't want to land there and piss off the controllers in case we have a lost comms situation or something, and it's actually, like, maybe they were hearing me and I just wasn't hearing them. But in any case, I'm not sure what was going on there, but I want to land at Bakersfield, so I just disconnected. Alright. So I'm going to enter downwind for runway 30 right. Traffic pattern for 30 right is to the right, so this is going to be yep, we're going to right downwind. No, we're not. We're currently on a left downwind, but I want to be on a right downwind, so I'm going to scooch my way over. I'm going to start decreasing our speed, set our RPM to 2350. All these the cowl flaps and such are closed. Landing light can come on. I'm not entering the pattern properly. Let's get out of the way of any possible incoming traffic. It's been a while since I've flown an FSX in a GA aircraft, so bear with me, guys. Speed's still pretty high, so I'm gonna chop the throttle. It's a nice sound from the engines. Lower the gear, get our speed down, entering the right downwind for Bakersfield. Can drop a couple notches of flaps. Hey DP, nice to see you too. Just finishing up my flight over here. Did a flight from Monterey to Bakersfield. For some reason, I don't think I was having some connection problems with Pilot Edge or something like that. I don't know. Maybe you know. Do they not do tower services for Bakersfield anymore? Because I wasn't receiving anything from them. This is going to be a sporty landing in the Corsair. Let's see if I can stabilize it on approach. Let's open up the canopy. I'm trimming up a lot. Now I've over trimmed. Alright. Let's drop the rest of the flaps. Kind of coming in sideways, but that was the fashion of the Corsairs, I guess, at least when they were landing on carriers, because the nose is such a big obstruction, it was hard to see the carrier, so they'd come in from the side and then turn to land on the carrier deck. Let's check our speed. 100 miles per hour looks about right. You just came in for the interesting part. DP, time to land this thing. This has quite a displaced threshold. It's an interesting runway. I wonder why it's so displaced. There's really no terrain or anything in the back that I saw. Sloppy approach. I just want to put this thing on the ground. On the ground, not in the ground. Oof, that was rough. Oh man, my landing yesterday was much better than this. That was a lot of bouncing. Tail wheel lock off. Just take a second to stop here and clean up our aircraft. Yeah, they are indeed. Aircraft carrier landings are your business. That is true. That is true. Yeah, the F4U Corsair had problems with carrier landings. Despite the F-17, the Jolly Roger Squadron was one of the first to get equipped with the Corsair, and despite their efforts to convince the Navy that carrier landings were very doable in the aircraft, the Navy mostly relegated the F4U to the Marines and flew them out of dirt strips in the Pacific. Alright, just ran through the checklists real quick. Let's take a look. We landed on 30 right, turned off, and now we're looking at Alpha, and we can just taxi to transient GA parking. We'll pass the flight school ramp and head to the main parking area. Should note the time. We landed at about 7:10 local. That was kind of a bummer we didn't get ATC. I was looking forward to some ATC services on our approach into Bakersfield, but that's okay. I had to log off of Pilot Edge to land because I didn't want to mess their operations up in case they were seeing my aircraft and I just wasn't receiving their messages. Doing some S turns. So we have to pass the tower, and then the next set of hangars will be the transient parking area. I think at some point I downloaded freeware custom sounds for this aircraft by Skysong Soundworks. I think they released the sounds for the Corsair for free, kind of as an advertisement for their company, and I have them installed here, and it sounds really nice. I like that kind of like that sputtery poof 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 sound of the engine when you have it at idle. Okay, I think we can pull into one of these parking areas. Maybe park next to that helicopter. Alpha 8. Yeah, that looks good. Seems to be some grass growing in the taxiway. That's not good. Actually, I think transient parking is to the right, so let's go there. Okay, there's some boxes or something in the way of in the taxi in the middle of the taxiway. Let's just gingerly taxi around them. Hey, Agile Coast, welcome to the stream. And let's park over here next to this guy. Kind of come in really cool-like and park askew to the line so we don't hit him. Oh, what the heck, we can make the line. Kind of. Okay. There we go. Parking brake is on. And I think we can cut the mixtures. Set the trims for the next flight. Turn the fuel off, hand it off to ground. Ignition switches to off. Close all these auxiliary flaps. Generator avionics can come off. Lights can come off. Pitot heat I turned off already. And battery can come off. We already have the canopy open. And let's take a look. Actually, you know what? Let's to lock the tail wheel and also unlock the wings and fold them up. Agile Coast, I was on Pilot Edge network, but now I had to log off because I was having connection problems. So I'm just playing offline, but I was on the Pilot Edge ATC network earlier. All right, so we got our wings folded up, and let's take a look outside the airplane. So we've arrived at Bakersfield. I want to thank you guys for joining me. It was a fun flight. Hope to be streaming more now that I'm getting back into it, and look for more Warbird action. I might do some streams in War Thunder, maybe Aces High, and of course good old FSX. So Disgrace Pilot, it's good to see you again. Thanks for the new guys for joining me that haven't come by before. Thanks to Adonis, who left already, but he was giving me some good tips, and it's always good to see him. And I will see you guys again next time. Thanks for watching.